But if you have a really specific use case, I would love to hear it, and maybe I can give you a, I don't know how, I fucking know how to pronounce his name. Rodan. And then you say Rodan, and you said, I'll give you a sec. You see how his name is written, and when he's going to pronounce it, it's going to be always George, pretty much. It's always like an Irish name.
Yeah, it's
So how do
very,
you
very
pronounce your
different.
name?
It's Ruan. So just imagine the D and the H are gone.
This is what I'm saying. It's pretty much George, but Rodan's Ruan,
Man, it's the exact same. It's obvious. It's clearly
It's
Ruan.
always like like Irish name. I was telling you I used to work in Ireland, and like there was this lady. His name was I forgot his name is Sneeze. I'm like, this is not written in front of me.
Oh,
It's
Neve,
like
Neve, is it?
Niamh, yeah.
yeah, like this is not Dave. This is something else. But anyhow, um, good stuff, guys. I see some people keep joining, so it's cool. Hey, Noemi, what's up, girl? Um, so we're on. George,
Ruan.
I don't know how you want to play this. You can let some people start. Maybe at 20, we can start whatever you want. In the meantime, if some people want to ask me some question before we officially start, I'm happy to do it. Whatever Ron decide to run this thing.
I think the best way is if you, while we're waiting for people to join, if you can just introduce yourself. I'm sure everybody kind of knows who you are, but just introduce yourself, give a little bit of a backstory.
Yeah.
And then by half past, definitely we should open it up for Q&A, and then that should take us to the end of the hour. We might open
Oh,
up
good.
Q&A before then.
Oh, good. Thank you for having me, Ron. Truly appreciate it. My name is Enzo Carasso. I'm the founder, CEO of the C17 Lab. We're a revenue engineering firm. We mainly do acquisition through cold email, LinkedIn outreach, and cold calling, warm calling. Um, if you ask me why we're mostly known for, outside of the skills, most people know me because of the work that I did with Alex Somozy for $100 million leads, $100 million money models. Long story short, I'm the affiliate that brought in the most money. When he break his record, and I'm doing that through cold email, cold calling, and warm calling. So I don't think I'm too bad at what I do. If you ask us why people usually pick C17 among anybody else, is that first, I guarantee whatever result that I can get to people during the sales calls. And that's what people usually like working with us, because if I decide to say yes to you, like I know I can help you. I'm not gonna take people money if I don't think I can help them. Um, but you don't take my word from it. I could be lying. You can just ask Noemi. She's in the chat right here. I saw her. She used to work with us before she started her own agency. So whatever I claim, she can say this is true or not. Um, but my entire belief is that in the way the things that I do for C17, I'm trying to provide people so much value and so much lead. Their understanding of what they think is possible drastically shift. And I think you can only be really good and keep client forever is is when you can provide the money they pay you versus the result they're getting is so huge that they cannot imagine a single moment in their life without you. And that's what I'm trying to create for all the clients that come with work with us. And if you ever heard of us before, we're really performance focused. When I mean performance, is like booking meetings, generating leads. This is where we really shine. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna do those really custom, highly targeted. Like no, I'm gonna get you a result, whatever it takes. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I do, and this is who I am. Yes, thank you very much for having me today, guys.
Very, very welcome. So I think the best place to start is maybe tell us about the work you did with Alex Ramosi if you can. Like I've heard of people running affiliate offers via Outbound, but I've never actually done one myself. How does that work? How did you set it up? How did you target the messaging? Can you speak about
Yeah,
it?
sure. Here's the thing. I only did it because that was Alex. I don't think that specific strategy would work for anybody else because two people in the world have the brand area. So you have to understand there's a compounding factor of him being who he is and the type of proof, an ecosystem of proof that he has. And I'll give you the entire strategy, everything that I did from the start to finish. You can give me your opinion on that. But yeah, I can walk you through what we did exactly. Actually launching a video, a new VSL explaining working that, so you guys are gonna get the information before anybody else. Um, I don't think affiliate offers I mean, they would work. Yes, affiliate offer could work for cold email, but you need to have something that is so good that people cannot say no to because it's by default a performance offer. It's a really expensive. You ask me how much it cost us to do what it did for Alex. It cost us $28,000 to set up all the infrastructure, everything we did for Alex, the SDR full time. And keep in mind, we brought in, I cannot say the number, but like a shit ton of money. And I was the number one affiliate in terms of revenue worldwide. So of course the money we spent versus how much Jennifer was like is a joke. But like it costs a lot of money. I had over 5,000 inboxes. I was sending like 100 close to 100,000 emails a day. Um yeah, it was insane. My daughter, my this girl was making $35,000 in 4 weeks. It was a crazy setup. So yes, it's a lot of volume, but it also comes down to one thing: the offer. And if you ask me, Enzo, how do you design the offer for Alex? You're all coming down to we as an individual and how I build this brand. So the question is, how do I generate all those leads that I did for Alex Emoji? You need to analyze something we were talking, David. Who's the addressable market of these people? Where's the addressable market of Alex Emoji? The way you think about this, you need to go a little bit further about how did Alex build his brand, establish himself as we is today. And you should take time to look over the years of the work that we did. You see that Alex built his entire brand in going in other people's podcasts and talk about it. And what we did is we analyzed at scale every single podcast we ever been on. And there's a common denominator of all those podcasts. They all fall under the self-development umbrella. Either fitness, either making money, either a relationship, either thing. It's always come down to self-development. No matter who he's talking to, the always main topic is around self-development and getting more money, being fitter, better relationship. And in the case of Alex, is that the credibility he has in helping people generate more money because he's been incredibly successful at that. Now we noticed something really interesting. In every single podcast Alex been on, he was consistently the one that was the richest. Every time he was on a conversation with somebody, he was always the richest one. And why it's so important? Because in every podcast situation, he portrays himself or he coming as I'm the guy that can, tell you how you can make money in the best way and whatever and doing what he's doing. And that was really interesting. And the way we thought about it was like, oh, interesting. So he built his brand and his audience by going on to the people podcast. And those people that was listening to him decided to follow him after that. And that's how he built his entire strategy. So the thing we did here, we script every single podcast host followers he's been on for the past 5 years, and we targeted those people. That's close to a million people, pretty much. So every podcast, Diary of the CEO, My First Million, every podcast that you might know about business that have been beyond, we script their followers. We're like, hey, I see that you're following or they're listening to this podcast thing. By the way, I see also that you're saying to that type of people and that you're helping them in that. Can I share with you how Alex Amosi is getting 20,000 leads per day? By the way, don't take my word for it. It was in a podcast episode 251 of the favorite guy that you listen every day because I see you following them. Can I give you access to this framework? Like, nobody going to say no to that. Like, that email was so good. Like, I know who you're targeting. I know who you're listening. Because you're in sales or you're marketing, I know that probably knowing how to get 20,000 leads per day would be really interesting to you. And by the way, I use the proof that you're listening to this guy because trust Alex Mosby. He's been on the guy episode. You should trust him as well. And that loop that we're using in a copy, leveraging Alex's brand, plus the people that listen, is just like a killer message. And you send a message to a million people, you get a lot of a response. And in a nutshell, that's what we did.
Okay, nice.
And
And
we
then
call those people as well.
in terms of infrastructure, I assume you were sending it from your own infrastructure, like the C17 branding, and then you just say it,
Yeah.
message from you.
It was not for me. It was a fake name that I used. It was a fake name that I used and random domain. Can I be honest, guys? Nobody cares about domain. No. Most people think, oh, I need to redirect. You're gonna realize most people don't really look at your domains. Nobody cares. People care about the offer most of the time. I'm not saying don't redirect and don't do it. What I'm saying is like on a scale of importance, it's definitely at the bottom. It's not so much relevant, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that leads to the next solid question would be, what advice would you give to outbound agencies in 2026? Like, I know you were talking about how you think it takes a lot of time to be very, very good at each channel. And that's why you're not focusing on LinkedIn ads and all of these other channels at the minute for your own agency, not yet anyway. Is there any other advice like that that you would give outbound agencies?
It's really coming down to their business model. So it's going to be hard to talk about urban agency in general. It's like, what are you trying to achieve? What kind of people are you trying to serve? And what kind of problem are you trying to solve today? What kind of agency you want to become in the future? Let me give you an example. I started my cold calling department and my SDR department because I was this crazy guy. And it was a story that really stuck with me. It was the craziest thing ever. There's this client, I think Noemi was still with us at the time, that I generated like, I think 180 leads in a single month. And I booked 2 meetings and the churn. I'm like, how the fuck I get 180 leads in a month and you guys booked only 2 meetings and you decide to churn? Like, this is nuts. And then people were interested. I'm like, so I realized two things: the ability and the muscle to generate interest, the muscle to book meetings on a calendar is two different muscles. It's not the same motion. And I realized that I, no matter what, need to make it as easy for people to say yes and as easy for people to keep paying me. And the best thing I can do is that give them almost everything on a platter so they cannot say, oh, the leads are not good, or oh, kind of book meeting because the leads are not good. Like, no, a book meeting on the calendar, people show up. What is your excuse? You just suck at closing deals. That's a different story. And then as long as you have this, because if I generate the lead, generate the interest, people respond to them, call them, book them on your calendar, make sure they show up, and you get a ton of meeting book on your calendar, and somehow you cannot close them, it's hard for you to say, oh, it's Enzo's fault. Those 17
Yeah.
It's like, fault. So that's my perspective. Because if you ask me, Enzo, what do you want to be in 10 years? What do you want in 15 years? I hope I'm still going to be running 17. And my goal is that I want to be the company that people come for, like, I need results, and I need results no matter what. Please help us. So my approach to this was like, oh, if I want to be that kind of company, I need to make sure that I solve all the problem, like, quote unquote, client have until the meeting happen. And that's why I'm trying to solve it. Now, it depends what you want to do as a outbound agency. Some outbound agency only send a positive reply, and some people are okay with that. I think this is a dangerous game, and long term it doesn't work, especially if you want to charge a lot of money. That is the biggest thing. If you're not charging a lot of money, it's okay. If you want to charge a lot of money, it's hard because you need to understand something as the outbound agency. And it took me a while to figure it out, guys. So what? All good if you guys have figured it out already, it's good. If you haven't, it's all good. It took me like literally a while. It is a completely different approach. And there's a lot of education that needs to be done when you're onboarding a client, when you're studying a client about, hey, please no. Outbound, this is nothing you've ever seen before. Whatever the conversion rate, cut it in half, cut it by 1/3, there's going to be a new conversion rate for outbound. Because this is harder. All the channels that you ever used before allow people to, and the best way I can describe it is the following. If you look at channels of acquisitions, they sit on a spectrum. They don't sit isolated. Let me explain to you. The best channel ever, the highest converting channel ever is brand, content. People that decide to book a call on your calendar because they've been seeing your content for a while, they love what you're doing. Oh my God, this guy is great. He can exactly solve my problem. Your job is to not screw that up. After brand and content, this is warm outreach, warm intros. Other people that say, hey, Ron, Enzo, I said that you're good, so I should talk to you. I want to hire you. Good. That's a really strong conversion. Then after that, you have paid media. And paid media is pretty much people that get exposed to your ads and decide on their own term that, hey, I really like what I'm saying. I want to learn more. Outbound is on the complete opposite of that. It's people that say, hey, you don't know who I am. You never heard of me before. Actually, you never didn't even ask to heard of me. But I have this thing that I know you probably experiencing a problem. I know exactly how to solve it. By the way, this is the value that I can provide to you. So you know that I'm actually really legit. And if that's relevant, let's get on the call and I'll show you how to solve it. And that model of people never heard of you and you need to generate interest and convince that people to get on the call with you, it's just so much more work because you need to educate them, you need to make sure it's timely, you need to make sure that they have the budget. Like, it's so much more work required to get a lead from outbound to close. And if you don't understand that as an outbound agency, no matter what, you're going to fail. Because yes, intent, signal, whatever it's called, what you can do that, but you need volume to compensate because it's the following. no matter what, even if you're generating leads for your clients, but you know that conversion rate is going to be a third or a half of what usually they get, you should always overwhelm them with so much lead that they should like, this is nuts. I don't know how to do all that. But most importantly, they should be aware of like how hard it is in the first place. They also give them the tools to know how to work the leads, such as, hey, people respond, you need to respond in 5 minutes. If you can, you have to call them, you need to follow up, you need to educate them. It's so much work to not just generate leads, but convert it to meeting and to close one when it's come from outbound. And I think you should get that as an outbound agency. You can go further because then you can make sure that you design system that's optimize for that and help your clients either book meetings by themselves or you book the meeting themselves. And if 2026, if you have a good understanding of that and you can figure out system to get that done, then you're gonna work pretty well. You're gonna see your lifetime value gonna increase because they have less to do. So if that was I'm on the industry in 2026, I would focus on making sure people cannot say I don't have a result from you. And to me, is that making so easy for them to not churn.
Okay, very cool. On that point, so you mentioned you brought in the cold calling or the warm calling motion because there was a big drop off with your clients from a positive reply to then a meeting.
Yeah,
That was a factor that you considered is now that like you could have also decided that you would only work with companies that had teams in place to already call the leads that you would send to. Could you not? The reason I'm asking is because earlier you stated that for you as an agency, you've decided you only want to work with companies that have a TAM of, let's say, 100,000.
yeah.
Um, where do you draw the line between, and this is a personal question, this isn't so much something that
Yeah,
applies to everyone, I know it's different. Where do you draw the line between what you want to help somebody with? Because there are a lot of moving parts, and where you kind of want to leave it to them.
pretty much. Here's the thing. As I told you, my goal is that I understand two things. The way I approach it, I'm going to answer your question. Just thing like, why do I want to work with a company that have this understanding of that? Two reason. Why? Nobody else at the time was doing it. So I was one of the only agency that started doing this motion. Everybody started doing it. So, so nobody was doing it, so I could not charge more money, pretty much, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
But also, how do I differentiate myself? How do I build the skills that allow me to be here in 15 years and still be one of the best in the world? And I think doing that motion, having the ability to call the leads, all that was a normal thing that was going to come. And I was like, I might as well trying to solve it today when nobody else can know how to solve it and be one of the first and be able to charge more and build your expertise in house instead of just deciding to say no to people. Because
Okay.
either way, I understand that my goal, if you ask me what's my goal, I want to own the entire funnel from finding the leads to booking a meeting. If you ask me, I think that small funnel of finding general leads, interest to outbound, and booking a meeting, I think that could be $100 million business. I honestly think that's $100 million business. So I want to build $100 million business. I might as well try to figure out how to solve it right now. And that's why I decided to do it.
Okay, cool. So it's just a natural progression for you, and it made the most sense
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah. You can decide you can pick your heart, and I'm like, yeah, I might decide to suck at something for a little while. That's what I told you. I could do LinkedIn ads, I could do LinkedIn content, whatever. I can do a bunch of things. But I try to do really good at one thing and few things, and this is for me the thing that I'm trying to be good at, and I'll figure out the rest a little down the line.
Nice. All right. So when you sign a client, and again, you don't have to go into all of this. I'm not sure how much you want to share here. Let's say you sign a client today. You handle the invoice, you handle all the legalities. You get the information either via call or a form about their company. How do you generally progress then? Do you start with the TAM? Do you start with the messaging? Do you start with the strategy that dictates everything else? Just curious to hear what you normally do.
That's a good question. Let me see if I can share something with you. Uh, um,
And just to be clear, the reason I'm asking this for a lot of the other guests is because I'm seeing an awful lot on LinkedIn nowadays that people are constantly just spouting about all of these playbooks and all of these random workbooks and tables and whatever else that they just apply to every client. Personally, I believe that it doesn't apply to every company. Not every playbook is going to work for anyone. So if you just download something from some random around LinkedIn, it's not necessarily going to work for your client. So I just wanted to hear Enzo's opinion on what he normally does, and because I'd imagine that he has a bit of a more bespoke approach to it.
So I always start with two things. To me, it's kind of hard because I'm solving all of that in the sales calls. My sales
Yeah.
calls solve everything in my onboarding. I get them the first list, and I make sure in the sales call this is the right list, and I'm writing the copy and doing the sales calls, and that's part of my sales calls. Why? Because then it solves it. Hey, during my sales call, we already have your list, you already have your copy. Why don't we launch a campaign? I'm trying to solve it as much as possible during my sales process. I think for me, everything starts with the copy. The big and the reason why is that the copy gonna give you quote unquote the structure of your clay table. Um, it's gonna be give you clear, and that's probably the most important thing. Like how all the pieces gonna go together. And then the time thing is like this. I mean, this is a easy thing. You can just talk to a client, figure out
Yeah.
what is the time, do some research. But like the most important thing is the in my opinion the copy, because the copy gonna dictate how you're gonna create the clay table, what is gonna be the structure of the clay table, and then you're gonna start from there. So I start with the copy. I send them for approval. Once we approve, we start with the lead list, and then we send them for approval. And both are approved. We can launch a campaign and whatnot.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, okay, very cool. And then in terms of infrastructure, so a lot of people are worried about deliverability and stuff nowadays. I'm just in your case, what have you seen in your own tests? Because I'd say you send a lot of volume compared to a lot of people on this call. Maybe not, but I'd imagine so. What have you seen? Are there any patterns you're seeing, or do you still stick to the basics?
Anybody here send over a million code email per month? You can just raise your hand. Anybody? Okay. Uh, the basics.
Nice.
Short email, no spam words, a great offer. That's it. Really, really, really slow. The only thing I'll tell you about this probably different than most people is like I don't send more than I have a bigger infrastructure than most people. Just because uh I don't send 20 code emails per day. I send like five per inboxes. I'm really, really small in the sending. Actually probably even less than that. Uh yeah, probably even less than that. So oh, you'll be surprised. I'm gonna show you because like otherwise nobody's gonna believe me. So right now I have like 129,000 inboxes. And you see, I'm like at some for client, we have some two sending a day. So really small.
Wow.
The reason why is that I'm gonna be a stupid guy, but like when was the last time one of you sent 20 emails in a day? Actually, put an emoji if you send 20 real emails in a day yourself. Nobody does that. At the time, we're like, oh, nobody sent 50, but like, nobody sent 20 emails a day. Even on a hard day, I don't think I send 20 emails a day. Some people do, but nobody sent 20 emails a day every single day, 7 days a week. Nobody does. So I would rather go the really small, sometimes 5 to 10 to 15 to even 15, and I'm playing around the numbers. So I'd rather have a large infrastructure. And I realized that I can go under the radar a little bit longer.
Mm.
Some of that have very good copy, have good offers. Incentive works a bit better, but then you need to understand you need to spend more than anybody else, no matter what. So bigger infrastructure, some less, more. It's less for inboxes, but more than everybody else. Everything goes. I don't do anything magical. I don't want, guys. I just want to be. I don't have any secret sauce. And when it comes to infrastructure, everybody, I do not have any secret sauce. I just try to do the basics well. That's it.
And then with the infrastructure, I've seen a lot of people kind of go both ways. Do you do you set up the infrastructure under your own accounts and then just send them a pass-through cost or include it in your margins? Or do you set it up get them to set up the infrastructure on their own accounts and you just manage it?
I, I own everything. I own everything. I don't know. So I
Yeah.
also have very specific clients. I don't do clean implementation. I don't do a credit system in your system in your instance, and I run it for you. I teach you. I do none of that. I own everything, and I run everything because I've better costs because I'm where I'm in the space and I have a good relationship. So I'm able to use that to have cheaper costs than most people, and my client will get themselves and use that leverage to charge what we charge. But I'll tell you. Yeah, I keep everything in house. It's easier for automation. It's easier to solve things. Why do you need to explain a client? Hey, by the way, we need to change 100 more domains. You need to buy them. Like it's an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
I would rather charge you $15,000 a month, and we're gonna take care of what we're taking care. I never have to worry about the infrastructure costs. Everything is handled by us, or by what you need to change. We cover everything. That's why I rather charge way more and take care of everything, and have them to the by the way, you need to get this tool. You need to get this tool. It's weird. It's really weird motion. I don't do that.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, I think it's time we just open up the Q&A for everyone. I've been asking enough questions. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and then you can ask Enzo directly.
Okay, Anna, how would you know within the copy what would be the most relevant of the things to change that would make the most difference? A stupid thing that I'm going to tell you, but like, would you respond to the email you just wrote? That simple. Like, I always ask myself, I'm going to write something. Would I respond to that? If you don't think you're going to respond to that, you probably don't write something really relevant or really good. And that's kind of like the first thing you should always do is like, would you respond? Respond to say yes to the email you just wrote yourself. It's stupid, but to me, it's like the basics. Um, Now, how would you know within the company will be the most relevant and the thing to change that will make the difference? Um, I have a framework that I always use. It's like I have this ideology. Let's put it like that. When it comes to writing copy, it's like each line should make you want to read the next line. So when I'm going to try the first line, how can I make the first line so good that you want to write the next line after that, that you want to read the next line and the next line, and up to the point where people want to, oh, this is so good. This is, I want to say this. And if you have to tell you how you would split your amount of work that you spend on your code email, two things they'll tell you 80% of your work, in my opinion, should be split between the first line and the call to action. That's in my opinion, the two most important things you should spend the most amount of time is. 20% you can split in like how you want to write the body and everything. But like you want to focus a lot on the offer, which is the CTA, and the first line, which is how you get people attention. I hope that helped, Anna. I'm gonna move to somebody else. Also, does that protection, Andrew? I don't know if you're here. Can you just explain to me what you're just trying to
Yeah,
say
yeah. So
here?
in
Because I
terms of
don't.
like owning the infrastructure, like they obviously can't take that and go to someone else, and you can give them that like all in for one fee. Does that mean less people leave because they can't just take it and go somewhere else, or how does that play into that?
I don't know about you, but nobody ever asked me for the domain in the front. Nobody ever asked me even when you leave, they don't ask me for it. I don't need protection in anywhere. To be honest, in my contract, if you want to have that, you need to pay me to get it out when you leave. So if you want to leave and get the infra, it's $12 per domains. You pay us that, and we give you the infra. But you give you the domain. But keep in mind, you cannot give people the inbox. You can only give the domain there. You can buy back the
Yeah,
domains, and that's it. I don't think it does anything to protection. To be honest, I don't think you should that should be that should not be something you think about how does that protect churn or not. I don't think that's really relevant in this. If you need to think about how those keeping the domains helping you with churn, I don't think you're approaching it the right way. So I think that's the least thing you should think about when it comes to churn is like domain protection. And to be honest, you should probably give them away for free if you want. Like happy to do
yeah,
this, just leave us and we get it. That's the team in exchange. Negotiate it. We spend a lot of money on this. Can get a testimonial. Negotiate that, but like it's not really
yeah.
relevant in my opinion.
Okay,
Have you
get that.
seen
Cheers.
success? No, worries, go. Have you seen success with sending code emails to e-commerce brand and different from another? Yes, I'm doing it. I'm doing for the largest marketing agency in the world. They make like 2.5 billion in revenue, and we're helping them on the Amazon department. So yes, I'm doing it. It's really hard. It's really extremely hard because okay, if you think about B2B businesses, those people only exist in two places in the world, LinkedIn or Google Maps. If you ask me where leads exist in the world, they only exist on LinkedIn and Google Maps, nowhere else. But there's a third category, which is e-commerce brands. Those guys exist, they're not on LinkedIn, and most of the time they're not on Google Maps. So you have this weird space, which is usually owned by store leads, or any other huge rich databases that can have those those lead data, where you can find them. But like, if you think about the B2B world, only is LinkedIn and Google, and the e-commerce brand is this weird place. They're not really on LinkedIn because those guys don't really give a fuck about it. And if they're not a retailer, they don't have a physical shop, they're not gonna be on Google. But they do exist, and there's a lot of them. It's really different from industry because everybody under the sun trying to target those people. So it's really, really hard. You should have an even better offer than for anybody else to be able to get those people attention because every marketing agency is trying to get their attention. So um, it's really hard. I'll tell you, it's hard, but it's just come down on the offer. How good is your offer? Your offer has to be 10 times better than anything else. If you're setting Google ads, Meta ads to those people, strap on. You need to invent something that the world have never seen, and that's how you're gonna win. And we make it win a lot for our customer in that space, but we have to be creative as fuck when it comes to the offer, the lead magnet, and how we deliver it. That's the what happened for the chats. If you have another question right now, we can take them for sure.
So, Enzo, I have one question about you when you were mentioning the subject that you don't include any spam or any of those. So how do you tie the subject, the first line, and the CTA in an email? Or
I didn't talk about the subject line. I talked about the first line. But you
yes,
do,
so that's why. But the people first thing it just like the hook is the subject, right?
not really.
Usually,
To be
or
honest,
how do you?
it's gonna be weird what I'm telling you, but like I make it as boring as possible. I make it something like what somebody internal in a company would send to each other. Like, for example, I'll give you something stupid. One of my clients is targeting uh one of my clients is setting payments solution and contract solution for companies. Uh or subject line is company name, billing, and an exclamation. Company name, billing, something. Your business owner, somebody send you an email that's company name billing in the subject line, you're gonna open that email. Because as a business owner, somebody say company name billing, I'm gonna see what this thing is about. Um, and I'm trying to make it as boring as regular as possible. People that seems that it's a regular email. I don't want to do anything catchy. I don't want to do something that will actually draw attention, in my opinion. When it comes so much to the subject line, I want you to catch attention as the owner, as the decision maker, where it's something within you feel that you need to be aware of. But I'm not trying to say something. Here's how you get 5 new clients for 3 years. You don't like not stuff like that. Really, really boring and thorough, in my opinion.
Other thing I wanted to ask. So one of the things you were saying that you had like different accounts, and you say you have 500 domains at 15,000 or something. So you have 300 different names for each domain, and which is the
No,
name?
I
So
have, I have way more domains than that. I have like thousand
oh, okay.
domains.
So
It depends.
thousand,
I
but
have like
how do you
depends on what I'm
say it? So
fresh
it's hello or info. What is the one that is
of.
the most
I
popular?
have I have an automation that give me like a ton of variation on prefix, and then I ran out all the I ran out of all the thing on prefix is giving me on suffix, and I'm doing it like pretty much. I have pretty much infinite way of finding combination of them, and I have something that I built on clothing that do that for us.
So Anna James asked, what would you say the best signals out there for finding CRM hygiene to find the best leads? If you wouldn't mind expanding on that.
What would you say the best signal is for finding CRM agent? I have no idea. I don't know. If you were here, can you just talk to me? Like,
Yeah, sorry,
talk to me
guys.
so I can hear. No, all
So,
good.
so basically, when I go and look online in order to figure out potential clients, when to go and spot for CRM hygiene that they will need, I find that if you don't start from the basis that is clean, finding new leads will only augment in a certain way the dirty data, or at least that's my opinion.
Yeah.
What I have found, however, is that it's not immediate to actually find the companies that might need this type of service. They all need it, but it's just the wonder is like, how do you know which companies to go and concentrate on versus others? Like, how will you go and find them about that?
Let's have a conversation, you and I. You need to make assumptions. What company would care about having CRM hygiene? in your opinion? What would it look like in your opinion?
Well, what their TAM will look like. It can be anybody. I mean, if you think about it, I
No,
don't see it's like
actually
a
no.
sorry.
It could be anybody, but it's not really. Take the time to think about what criteria company that if they have the money to spend right now, because that's always the firm they should think. What company
Mm,
will want to spend money right now for the service that I have to sell? Now, if you think about it, who would want to spend a lot of money right now on CRM hygiene?
somebody that has it very dirty, but they wouldn't even know that they have it dirty and they have it messy. Somebody that obviously has to be
It's a
dealing
good
with
thing.
lots of calls,
Okay, you're
and
saying something
they're
interesting. How would they not know? How would they know or not know they have a dirty CRM? Because there's something that you can see from the outside that will let you know they have a dirty CRMs.
that's what I'm wondering. It's like what I know is from my like I started with my own reasoning. Is like I found that when I was trying to be doing phone calls and in order to as an SDR, okay, then I'm noticing that my CRM was kind of dirty and I would be getting extremely frustrated. But from the outside point of view, I know this because I'm internal. But it's like,
Yeah, okay.
and that's my own frustration. How will you find it from the outside?
Yeah,
That's why I'm asking you.
I'll give you the answer. I was trying to make you think about it. To me, there's an obvious answer, and I could be wrong here. Give me. You're just telling me about something. I'm gonna give you this from that side. Why CRM hygiene is not clean? Why? Because people don't do it right. Because people don't make things right. Why people don't make things right? Why? Because they're either mostly not trained, they're not SOPs, they're not clear system in place. But then why? Because most of the time they don't have 10 or during their onboarding, they were not something they've been put into consideration or they don't have the SOP or they have somebody that remind them. Why? The main reason in my opinion is that the company that has salespeople that are growing really fast and probably don't have or onboarded a lot of people really fast, and that would tell me, okay, those guys probably have this issue most of them. And then something you can look about, okay, if those people are onboarding salespeople really fast, and let's say I had 100 salespeople in about 6 months, who's leading the organization? Is this the VP of sales? Okay, is this the first time VP of sales? How long has it been VP of sales? And then you can look at the background of the person probably leading the department, and based on the experience, we'll tell you, hey, would somebody like that would be really focused on making sure people have clear CRM hygiene? Is it the first time somebody from the inside? Like you can make a lot of assumption. Something else you can do is that you can go on Glassdoor, do the organization because they're hiring a lot of people. So they probably because CRM hygiene only matters for companies that actually care about CRM hygiene and they have enough volume of leads where they need to know how things are split. So I'll do two things. Companies that are hiring a lot of salespeople or people that are responsible to fill the CRM. Two, I would look at the Glassdoor review of those companies because they're usually large enough and see what the people that were in sales talk about the CRM. What was the review people say about the CRM, about the day-to-day task over there? Did people that leave the company never review, oh, by the way, the CRM is never clean? Like you can always find patterns of what people either said about what it was internal or look at the trajectory or how fast the company is growing. Because if you're growing really fast, you're making a lot of money, you have a lot of leads, people are cutting corners, and that's probably a good opportunity. From the outside in, from what you're describing to me, this is how I would think about it. I obviously look how mature and how established is the leader in this company. Uh, do they have a RevOps person in the team? If they have a RevOps person, probably they optimize and automate most of it. If they don't have a RevOps person, maybe there's an opportunity there. I will look at those type of things. Hope it helps a little bit. I don't know you muted, but I hope it is. Cool. How to think of designing offer design for cold traffic? Vikas, what do you mean by that? You mean offers that's gonna increase website visits? Please come talk to me. I'm not gonna read the chat.
I think he means how do you go about designing those offers in the cold email? For example, you're talking about that for the e-commerce stores.
Yeah, we're gonna be spending 12 hours talking about this then. Cool. The way I'm thinking about this is that people should have dedicated unique offer for Cold Outbound. They shouldn't be really separate from what people main offer are. Is the biggest thing that you need to do is the first is when you design an offer for code outbound, figure out that you have the basic fundamental for that space. Does the CAC to LTV ratio make it work? That first is financially it's going to be viable to design that specific offer for you. Because usually a code outbound offer, because you have less conversion than usual, what I like to do is have a really more expensive offer or a really different offer where I can collect more cash up front faster. Because again, the conversion is lower. I need to make sure that I compensate by collecting more money. So it's usually a little bit more expensive offer that I'm trying to design. So people and provide some value that make people say yes. So at design offer, design for cold traffic, you have to say and provide so much in a nutshell, provide more value than anybody else in the world and in your industry and give it away for free. You have to be able to provide so much more value, but people are like, this is nuts. I need to jump on that call and figure it out. Let me give you an example. The best example I can give you is System Lab. You guys are all my competitors. But most cases, you guys cannot compete in my main offer that I have for clients, which means people can apply on my website and I will launch campaigns for free and book meetings on a calendar for free before they even pay us. Why? One, I think I'm the best in the world at what I do. Two, I want to solve the biggest problem for them, which means when you're having an offer and you have a code outbound offer, or you want to sell your service, talk about your guys' services. What is the sales cycle is all about? The sales cycle is all about convincing the person in front of you and helping you make the decision that if you give me money, you're going to get a result out of this. I want to solve that the fastest way as possible. I wanted to see the results before they give me the money, because then it solved the main question about if I give this guy money, would I get results? And I'm approaching it like that in a way I'm designing my offers. How can I design an offer where I can provide so much value that people would understand if I work with this guy, I'm probably going to get a result. That is the main, I'll tell you, approach of my code outbound offers. And I'll be honest with you, you need to work with clients with this because you need to convince them that this is completely something we never did before. And we need to think completely differently because we need to get them results that nobody else is getting. And to get a result that nobody else is getting, you have to do what nobody else is willing to do. And I'll tell you right away, and I'm seeing now online, everybody's trying to do free campaign and or pilot offer for people since I started this. You have to go further than what the competition is willing to do. And by providing more value than them. And you make it so easy for people to say yes, because if you prove that if they give you your money, they're going to get a result before they even give you money, oh my God, you guys are like, this is solved. And that's why I get most of my clients, because I'm like, hey, you want meeting on the calendar? Cool. How many of them you want? Well, I would like to have 120 next quarter. Cool. Let me book 5 in your calendar next week. And then if you get 5, are we going to work together? Oh, for sure. Nobody's getting me that. No. I give them 5. And the question is not about, am I going to get results? It's about how many of them do you want for next quarter? How much are you willing to pay for that? That is my approach. I'll really short it was like, you want to design offer by providing there's so much value that people are like, this is crazy. I want to respond. I want to get on the call with these people to understand what they're doing differently. So yeah, I hope you answer your question, because anybody else have a question?
Enzo, I have one about the campaign. So I'm not an agency. I'm setting up a founder. So I just wanted to know what is your strategy for setting up a good campaign? Like introduction, how many days you wait, or for the first email, second email, or do you have any?
Yes, I don't want to tell you something given on the industry of what I'm sending, the offer.
So my industry is B2B software.
That's just that doesn't mean it. That doesn't help me a lot, mates. That could be
okay.
B2B software is like everything in anything. Depending like where are we targeting? What type of people are we talking? Local service-based businesses? Are we talking a lot about people that also selling that are B2B SaaS? Like it really depends on who you're targeting, and what channel they're on. If this is local service-based businesses, I'm going to send an email, and next day I'm going to try to call them instead of sending a follow-up email. If this is, more, larger organization, more established, I'm probably going to send 10 emails, 1 and 2 before trying to call. I wish I was able to give you an exact answer. It really, really depends on who we're targeting. And then again, it depends like, what is the offer? How long are we wanted them to marinate with the offer before we respond? And are we doing LinkedIn enrich? Because LinkedIn on top of it. If I was to tell you, usually what I like to do is the following. I like to give the people the ID that I'm doing an outbound campaign just for them. Let me give you exposure. If Anna is one of my targets, what I would do is like I will send an email 1 to Anna on a Monday, I'm going to visit Anna LinkedIn profile on Tuesday. I'm going to send a connection request on Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, I'm sending email too. Thursday, I'm calling her. If she doesn't pick up, I leave a voice note. And Friday, I'm sending a LinkedIn message. And then, the following day, like the entire motion looks like I'm trying to talk to her and nobody else because she see my emails, but then she replies. His name, I saw that email. The same sounds familiar. If it's the LinkedIn profile, you send a connection request. You send another email. Oh, this person been messaging me on LinkedIn. Yeah. Oh, I got a voice note of this guy, and so like give the speech note. I'm trying to talk to you, and that entire motion, I'm trying to automate that at scale. So every people we reach out to feels that it's almost one to one. It's not automated and create that dynamic motion on a one-to-one almost conversation to, how many million I'm sending emails a month to be a prospect.
Yeah.
To me, that is the best way to get people attention because it feels, as much as we're trying to claim it, personalized.
Okay.
Okay, so David asked, he's got a client who's super against spamming people and he only wants to use signals. They're getting 30 leads a week and the client is happy with the results. But David knows that there's way more potential if they scale things beyond just intent-based signals. And he's asking, would you bother or just let it be?
It doesn't matter. If they're willing to pay more, you think you can get them to pay more, then go after it. But I will tell you, when they're saying something like that, ask them the following question. You know what? You're right. Do you remember the cold email you received yesterday or the day before? Who sent you that? That spammy. I know you received spammy email today. Do you remember who sent it to you? And I'm asking you guys right now. I'm sure you guys like me getting cold email every day. Who sent you a cold email yesterday? None of you can remember. None of you can remember their names. None of you can remember the offers because most people offers are shit. And most of the time, you have a time that is so large that you need to target them over and over again. And people don't remember. Like you guys get cold emails all the time. Nobody remember them. So if you tell them like, yeah, sure, I understand you don't want to spam or you don't want to send more email, but keep in mind, nobody else, no, you don't remember the cold email you received, no matter what, even if they're barely good, but if they're not good, you don't remember. So only the people that actually think they're going to relevant going to respond to it. But you can also tell them the following: if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So you can decide if you want to talk to most people. Because here's the thing: if you get 30 leads a week, what if we're getting 30 leads a day? How much that would change your business? And if they want to still not doing, I mean, might as well keep taking the money and just don't bother yourself with them. That will be my perspective.
Okay, I have a question. I have the following question. I don't know if you can hear me. Is my volume really low? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Are there situations where you say, I actually don't want to send cold email because of the industry? Maybe it might really be like a bad thing for this client.
Oh, I don't. There's offers that I don't take, and there's people that I don't work with. I don't work with recruiting agencies. I don't work with cybersecurity. I don't work with software, custom software engineering. I don't work with staff augmentation. I don't work with B2B SaaS, actually. You'll be surprised. I don't work with B2B SaaS. With B2B SaaS, with less than $500 per month or less than $5,000 level TV. So even with B2B SaaS, I'm really, really picky with the type of B2B SaaS that I'm working with. So the biggest thing is like there's industry that I say no. And if your lifetime value is below $5,000 or $10,000, I don't work with shit. Because I'm charging so much money that I need to understand if I book 50 book meeting on your calendar, I need for you to close enough so you get 6x return on your investment by working with me. That's why I only work with offers that are really, really high ticket, expensive. Or if this is the B2B SaaS, which I usually don't like, but like have a really expensive products or really long-term lifetime value. I hope it helps and I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, I was actually more thinking about, are there certain, let's say, a business could be in an industry, right, where if you really send a lot of cold emails, people actually perceive the receiver as, oh, this is spam, no matter what the offer is, no matter what they're doing.
No.
Because for me, for example,
people receive email. Okay, tell me what's the industry. I think you have an industry in mind.
No, so Yeah, I definitely have a different mind. I don't even read my emails, and I hate all kind of forms of receiving marketing, which sounds crazy because I'm actually in marketing since I'm like 18 or something. I'm 42 now. It doesn't do much to me. And I was just thinking in our the following up on the previous question of the other guy, like is there like a client that perceives it as spammy? Because I can understand that there might be some industries where or the type of client where it really would be bad for their brand.
Do you send something that is really worth sending? And that's the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing is like,
makes sense.
are you sending a good offer? Because you know what?
Yeah,
Let's say yes, could be something like, but if you're writing something that is really good, there's a lot of personalization that doesn't sound like it's been automated, and you have a good offer. So what? But guys, no matter what you do, people are gonna piss off. Like, listen,
yeah,
no matter what you're gonna send to whoever you're gonna send, no matter how good it is. If I say people, hey, I'm gonna launch even my own campaign where I offer people, hey yo, I'll book calls on your calendar. Say the word. And when people are like, oh, don't tell me, fuck you. Like, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna still piss some people off. So, you might as well so make some money. So
yeah,
beside what I told you about those specific use cases, I don't think there's an industry that is too good or too worried about. Except if your industry is like, if you tell me it's like 1,000 companies, like don't send any cold emails. Let's just don't do it.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
do something else.
make
Like
phone call.
if you have,
Yeah,
yeah, make phone calls, send gift bags, like do something else. But like if this is a small town, they're really, really valuable, $1 million per account close. You might want to do some minor outreach. You don't want to do automated outreach.
yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Wesley, in
Cool.
my experience, most of the time people who are against cold email are just against the concept of cold email and the
Yeah.
idea that we're sending a lot of emails. But at a recipient level, a good cold email, I won't be able to tell the difference between one that's been sent to 10,000 other people or just me if it's written well.
Yeah,
Um, so, so
100%. Yeah.
one question I have for you, Enzo, in terms of experimentation, so everyone kind of has this idea that you can A/B test in cold email. Personally, I don't believe you can. I don't think you can run very clean tests in cold email because there are too many variables at play. What I like to do is I like to run different experiments. So I try one thing, and then I look at the overall campaign holistically, and I try and analyze if there are any patterns that I can pick up on. And then I run another campaign afterwards and try and see if my thesis is correct. It's not quite an A/B test because I don't control the environment. But I just like to hear kind of how do you approach that if a campaign doesn't work, or if you want to make it better the next quarter or the next cycle, how do you do that? What are you basing that better off of? What's the baseline?
It's hard because it depends on the offers. I have some clients, their product costs $900,000. They get 5 leads a month to the happiest people on earth. So it
Hmm.
depends what is the baseline. What I'll tell you is the following is that usually 70%, and you guys, like, you got to be honest with yourself, all of you. 70% of the time, the first campaign that I launch for a client works by default. Because if you were to shoot your client, when you closed him, when you talk to him, you were able to say, hey, this is interesting. You were able to give them ideas of what you think would work. And I have this belief that most people know what they need to do to either make your business work or make your collab on the offer works. And most of the time, your first launch is always the right one. Um, to be honest, it's kind of hard for me to be like so wrong where it doesn't work. Um,
Mhm.
But I'll tell you is like most of the time, you know what you need to send and what the type of offer you should do to get people to respond to your code email. So you should always approach it like, if I'm the recipient, what I would want to send? Why would I respond to? There's always the same approach that I'm telling you guys all the time. Um, so I don't do a lot of A/B testing because most of them we get it the right way, and then you have to also to understand that in my case, like there's a lot of things that we do on the phone as well. So sometimes we target people that didn't respond to a code email. Like, hey, by the way, I sent you an email the other day. Was not sure if you guys see it. Oh yeah, I saw it. And we have people that don't respond. We actually target them for calling, and that you realize they read it, they just didn't respond. But then when it comes to A/B testing, I'll tell you, it's kind of hard. I don't.
Like
I will tell you guys,
even with a
I'm not.
campaign that works, do you just scale it by buying more inboxes and increasing the infrastructure, or do you try and figure
Yeah,
out why it worked and then just try and rebuild an even better one?
Most of the time I know where it works and where it doesn't work. Then you have to understand also like what I'm trying to optimize with is like, can I squeeze more out of this? Yeah, maybe. But like you cannot infinitely because this is what's gonna happen. And that's where more people think I think approach it wrong is that let's say you're sending a code email campaign and then you get 20% reply rate, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a 25 instead of just sending more. Because no matter what, you're gonna keep sending more. And the more you're going to send, the more your reply rate going to decrease, the more the positive reply rate going to decrease. It doesn't mean you should stop doing it because the reply rate decrease. To me, my benchmark is like everything over 18% is a good code email campaign. Below that, this is where I start reworking it. And I'm trying always to be at over 18% positive reply rates. And this is where I think I'm doing decent. Above that is good. But like, do I want to squeeze an extra 5%? I don't know. I think I'd rather have my guy calls or like I think it just depends
Yeah,
on
that
like
makes
what
sense.
is the target for the clients. Like, yeah. Again, I'm
Okay,
playing
cool.
different games because I'm always trying to get very large time, so it's really different.
And then in terms of scaling, so you sign on more clients, you as an individual only have so much of a capacity. When you sign more clients and you need to expand the team, do you expand the operating roles? Do you outsource the copywriting? Are you always behind the strategy, or do you outsource that? How do you
Yes,
structure
this
that
is
team setup?
yes, this is the only thing I've never outsourced, and nobody's doing it. So this is just strategy. I don't know how to outsource it. But again, I have a different background. I used to do that for a large company. I used to do a lot of. So my previous role when I was working for a company, I was doing what's called API integrations and partnerships with large organizations. And I was doing it through multiple tools and companies. So always I had to think about how do I create a partnership between my company and this company. So I'm really good at figuring out problems and making an offer work. So I think I'm really good at that. So it's really hard for me to find somebody else that can write as good as me and create good offers as good as me. So I'm still doing it myself. But I have GTMs, I have CSMs, I have head of delivery, I have a head of SDR, I have a couple of SDRs on my team. Um, it depends on the volume and the target. I'll tell you, mostly GTM on my team have between 5 to 6 clients max. I don't want to give them more than that. Some people say, oh, get 10 clients per GTM. Like, we do different level of volume. I cannot, like, I'm not sending 5,000, 10,000 emails per client. Most of my average client at System getting 100,000 emails a month. So, yeah. How many hours do you work per day? Me? I don't know, 24. Uh, I don't know how many hours I work per day. A lot. I work 7 days a week. She won't. I work all the time. Are you able to keep up with it all? Keep it well. I have a good team. I can tell you about it. I pay my people really, really well. I pay all my GM makes more money than the average agency over there. So I pay my people well. Um, that helps. So I help me attract good talents overall. Um, but yeah, I just yeah, I have GTMs, and usually I give them 5 to 6 clients. Make sure they're comfortable with it, and trying to optimize as much of their system to automate as much as possible before hiring another GTM. Pretty much right now, I'm trying to can I get 10 clients per GTMs without feeling them without having them feeling that they're overwhelmed. And that's kind of where the next challenge that I'm working on right now. How can I automate so much of their work where they're spending more quality time on important stuff where they can take more clients? And that's over my approach right now. I hope it helps.
Okay. Does anyone have any final questions? And then we'll let Enzo go.
Yeah,
So
I
he
have
can
one
work the
more
last few
question.
hours of his 24 hours.
Yeah,
What did you
that's
say?
also my follow-up. Oh,
What
sorry.
is the question? What is the question,
Uh,
Wesley?
okay, so my question is, how many hours do your employees work? Because you say you pay them really well. So most of the time, who are really good, they really love their work. They also want to work 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
But do you also have to push them, or you have to tell them, hey, go to sleep?
Some of them I have to go to sleep. Um, some of them I have to tell them go to sleep. And I tell them,
Yeah.
guys, don't message me on the weekend. There's no reason why you should work on the weekend. I'm not paying you on the weekend, so don't work on the weekend. So that's the thing. I pay my people really well. I think I treat them really well. I mean, Naomi can tell she used to work for us. I think that she will make a fair feedback on
Oh,
that. But like, I like to take care of my people because I always say the same thing to everybody. I can't find other clients. Talented people on my team, it's really hard to find. So I would rather
Yeah.
treat them well, give them a lot of money, feel they contribute to something good, give them raises often, and they feel that, hey, I'm well treated. Of course, I have a lot of work to do, but and Enzo's taking care of us. Hey, you have to understand also something about me. I'm firing clients all the time. If some of my clients is not respectful to my team, if
Oh,
they
yeah, that's
talk
good.
bad to my team, like I'm firing them. I don't care if you're paying us a lot of money or not. Biggest thing is like
Yeah.
I cannot replace really talented people really well. And the first thing the team gonna notice if you pick a client over them, let client talk down to them and not respect them, it's bad business. So I'm firing people
Yeah,
that are not respectful to my team because, as I said, I can always find new clients, but finding good team members is way harder.
Yeah, that answers my question. Seems like you're doing it right, but probably shows.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Thank you.
amazing. If nobody has any last questions, I think we can wrap it up there.
Yep.
Thank you very much,
All right.
guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank
And I
you.
hope to be here with you guys another time.
Merci
Really cool.
beaucoup,
Amazing.
Enzo.
Thanks for being here.
Cheers.
Bye.
C'était super.
Bye.
Cheers.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I like this one.
All right,
Smart
guys, time to
guy.
get back to work. He's a very smart guy.
Yep. Yeah, I just woke up. Okay.